never confess we cannot falter in the battle. We're tried and true. Indiana, Indiana, we're all for you.
Welcome, everybody, to the Indiana Basketball Weekly Show on the Grueling True Sports Network. As always, we're brought to you by BetMGM. If you want to bet on any Indiana games, college basketball games, or the NFL playoffs or Super Bowl, BetMGM is our top recommended sportsbook. Make sure you click the link in the description down below. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I'm your co-host for the Indiana Basketball Weekly Show, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in our co-host. First up, from the Got Woodson Facebook page, Brian Mohr. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good, Mike. Thanks.
All right. And of course, as always, 1981 national champion, Steve Risley. What's up, Steve?
How y'all doing?
Did you say y'all? You live in California now. You shouldn't be saying y'all anymore.
Going to be 80 degrees out here today. Beautiful day.
Just stop. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody cares. All right. So let's look at yesterday's game where.
Wait.
What?
What's the over and under on Xavier Johnson technical fouls?
Per game? I don't know. Probably like
today,
a half.
Last night.
I don't know, Steve. Go bet it. All right, let's start off with that then. So I wanted to talk about the game, but I guess we'll go to Xavier Johnson's technical fouls. I will say this. I don't think that it was mean, malicious, or anything like that, but I do think he scored on the dude and to show him up, threw the ball to him.
Wow.
And I would say this. It's not like
you
he drilled
an
him
administrator now on Got Woodson?
No, I'm just saying. I didn't think it was horrible, but I do think it should have been
up.
a technical. No, I think it should have been a technical foul. I don't see any way you can't call it. Oh, what's your opinion, Steve?
Another notch in the belt buckle.
All right, Brian, your opinion?
I think it's one of the more inconsistent things that referees call. Because I see it. I see players doing similar things that don't get called. I see them calling it. Either call it or don't call it. You know, if you're going to call it, if the guy touches it after he makes the shot or moves it towards the opposing player, then call the damn technical. Call it every time.
You never call technical on that. The first time is a warning and it's a delay of game warning. Unless the ball hits the player in the face, which is a flagrant 2, or if it hits them in the body, which is a flagrant 1 when I looked up the rule. So, and also the other thing that has to be judged is intent. And I've never seen Xavier Johnson, after he make a layup, grab a ball and throw it at a dude. And I know he just tossed it, but there's no reason for it, especially at the end of the half. And really, Brian, my other thing is this. The time's running out on the clock. Why would you want to throw in the ball? Wouldn't you rather just drop it down so the clock runs out for sure?
Yeah, I actually thought time was already expired by the time he threw the ball at him, but I don't know. I didn't see the replay of it.
Well, if time expired and the horn went off, that's where you get the flagrant, I think. But either way, it's just what we do. It's part of the game, I guess, now. And we'll make excuses for him and say it wasn't that bad. But you're not supposed to touch the ball when it goes through the basket because it is a delay game anytime you do it. And yes, Brian, you're right. Other people touch the ball and don't get it. But we also know this. When you have a history of doing something, you're more likely to get busted for it. Whether that's right or wrong, that's just the way.
Well, I agree. I agree that right now it sure appears like he's kind of a marked man when it comes to the officiating.
He marked himself, though. I mean, it's not like somebody else marked him. I mean, it wasn't like that beforehand. So it's just like somebody that gets picked up for getting in fights. The more fights you get in, the less lenient they become with you, even if it's not your fault. But that's neither here nor there. That didn't lose them the game. It didn't keep her from winning the game. I mean, it didn't help. But when we look at the stats here, IU shot really well from 2-point range, as always, 46%. 3-point range for the first time since 2010, they made none. 0 for 9, 0%. And then something that's even more concerning to me is 12 for 22 at 54.5%. You can't win games if you can't shoot free throws. I mean, a 10-point loss. They lost by 8. They missed 10 free throws, Steve.
Yeah, what do you want me to say?
I mean, I don't know what we could say because it seems like we've been doing this show since 2016 or 17. in almost every show, we talk about the free throw shooting, Brian.
Mike, pull up the season stats. What are our season free throw stats?
I don't think we want to know that, but I'll pull it up if you do.
Pull it up.
But go ahead, Brian.
No, I mean that between the 3-point shooting and the free throws, that costs us the game right there. You can't have a fall off like that and expect to win on the road.
You can't expect to win like that at home. I mean, not 0 for 9 and 53% from free throw
What's our
range.
season free throw stat?
It is actually better than you would think. It's 65%, which is still bad, but it's better than what you would expect. I mean, that's what Steve Risley shot free throws at.
Christ almighty, I shot better than that for my own career.
I'm looking that up right now, Steve. So make sure
look
you're
at
right.
that. What did I shoot for a career of free throws?
I mean, because we know this is coming. Because I think we've done this
Look
before.
it up. What did I shoot for career free throws?
Career free throw percentage, 64%.
You wonder why I didn't play.
Hold on a second. Your freshman year in 28 games, you shot 48%. After that, you shot 75 for your high the next year, 64 the year after that.
Yeah, but okay, in all defense for me, I was coached to miss half the free throws I took.
I don't think you were, Steve.
Where's that bullshit alarm?
Well, I'll tell you what, whoever coached you to do that was really good at coaching you.
Hey,
you listen really well, Steve.
Got a championship ring out of the deal. All right.
Yeah, it's a good thing everybody else can shoot free throws. All right, Robert Stewart says they also missed 3 front ends, which is also true. There's not a lot. I mean, this is the thing. I thought they played harder, Brian. Steve, what was your take on how hard they played?
I think they played really well defensively.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of their best defensive efforts of the year. You held a team that scores 82 points a game on average to 70. Their field goal shooting was like 36%, I think, and they weren't exactly burning it up from 3. I mean, they shot 30% from threes. Mbako really impressed me with his defense because he held what's his name, Terrence Shannon.
Yeah.
He only had 4 points. The rest of them were on the free throw line of his 12. So he shot 8 points from the free throw line. Mbako shut him down. And I think he played probably his best defensive game.
Well, I think this, Brian, everybody's saying they would have won with Ware. I think that he got beat worse with Ware because what you saw with the smaller lineup was a way that you could combat Illinois. So,
yeah, but
what?
Well, the only thing I would say is, we had this argument the other day on the Illinois coach, if he's a good coach or not. He refuses to double up when somebody's in the post. And if he doesn't double up when Wares and Renew are in there, they would have really had trouble.
Yeah, but if we'd had Ware on defense, we'd have really been in trouble because it changes the dynamics of the game. Because I thought Walker played really well on defense, and Mbako played really well on defense also. And I think that what surprised me that Woody actually played Anthony Walker instead of Peyton Sparks, because I think if Peyton Sparks there, I think we get run out of the building. I just think this. I don't think you can really fight fire with fire when you play a team like Illinois. You have to do what they need to do. And defensively, they did. And I'll give Coach Woodson credit that I thought defensively the game plan was really good. Unfortunately, I think the intensity was there compared to what we're used to seeing, but I don't think it was as hard as they could have played. And the reason I say that is this. They still got out-rebounded. They got out-rebounded 2-1 on the offensive board, Steve. 14-7.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, you don't trust me?
No.
Oh, you don't? Well, screw you then.
No, I do trust you. I do trust you, Mike. I'm just kind of getting a scouring. Killing on the boards overall. Yeah. I just didn't feel the team played as hard as they should have played with their backs to the wall to get into the dance. They didn't put it out.
Yeah.
I don't think this team's capable of putting it out.
I think anyway.
How about this? I'm a little shocked by he really went to a shortened lineup. in this game. I mean, we
Yeah.
didn't. Gunn didn't play at all. Sparks played 3 minutes at most.
I think it was 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see any of the guys that we're used to seeing coming off the bench. I mean, even Cups had limited minutes. We did see a lot more of Leal, and I think he did actually. Leal did an overall good job defensively, but he really shortened the lineup for this game.
Well, and I think the lineup should be shortened for every game. I don't know why you want to play 10 guys. I mean, really, they played with 5. Cups and Leal had 10 and 16 minutes. But, I mean, I don't know. Dude, I don't even know why Cups or Leal would have played 10 and 16 minutes. We did have some foul trouble. You had a guy foul out, which is one of the reasons that, you had guys get a little bit more time. But I don't think there's a real long bench here to use to be subbing a lot of people, Brian.
Well, I mean, based on performance, it's hard to argue that point.
Yeah, and I watch teams all the time that play their starters 40 minutes, 38 minutes. I mean, it's not like they're 38 years old playing in the NBA and they're getting tired. So,
well, what were the minutes of the starters, Mike? Mbako played the most he's ever played, I think, 37 minutes.
Yeah, and I would think with a guy like Mbako, as talented as he is, that's how you want to play him. But Renew 34, Mbaku 37. Of course, Renew fouled out, or he would probably be at 37 or so also. Walker played 31, which I don't know if he's played back-to-back games where he's played a total of 31 minutes. Trey Galloway, 36. Xavier Johnson, 34. Peyton Sparks, 2. Gabe Cups, 10. Anthony Leal, 16. Now, really, Illinois went really 7 deep because they had Harmon off the bench at 29 minutes. What's his name? Goody, whatever, to 30 minutes. And the sad thing about Luke is he's from Indiana, and he hit us with 3 threes yesterday. So there are shooters that exist in the world and in Indiana sometimes. So we need to start getting some of them. But I digress. And yes, this was also the first time in 13 years the Hoosiers did not make a three-pointer. Of course, we've talked about the free throw shooting. Malik Renew, what do you think of his performance yesterday, Steve?
I mean, I'm not going to fault any one singular player. I just think the overall team effort was pathetic.
All right, Brian, agree or disagree?
I don't know. I saw the game. I saw probably one of the best defensive efforts I've ever seen. I don't know if that just translated. They didn't know what the hell they were doing on offense. But
how do you say best defensive effort and they lost?
Well, you can't do well and lose, Steve.
You cannot do well and lose
cannot do well and lose, Brian. Are you kidding me?
Steve, you could play a great defensive game and not be able to hit the broadside of a barn and still lose a game.
Well, which is what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Right?
It was the offense. And I mean, the thing is, with the offense, they're never going to be able to score a lot of points because offensively, the roster is not there to score a lot of points. You don't have shooters. And really, I thought Malik played all right, but Malik still does stuff that drives me nuts, Brian. And
he gets in the paint. He doesn't even look. I mean, okay, granted, based on yesterday's performance, you could say, well, okay, he needs to go inside, but there's nobody from the outside that can shoot. But I don't even see him looking outside as he's in the post to see if anybody's open. Once he gets the ball, he's heading for the post.
Yeah, which would be fine if he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but he's not. So, and even Kareem looked outside. I mean, you have to play as a team. I still don't see that. I thought the defensive intensity was there. Offensively, though, I don't see any rhyme or reason to what they do on offense, Brian.
Well, I mean, we know that's their game plan based on their production is based on the inside. They were short their big man, their second leading scorer on the inside. Now, you can argue it maybe he wouldn't done as well, but I mean, it's not. You can't argue that their second leading scorer didn't play a minute in the game.
And it doesn't matter. You have to win with what you have. And I mean, nobody cares when they look at this in the NCAA selection committee. They're not going to give us points because we lost by 8 and Ware didn't play. They don't care.
Right. But you asked my opinion on the offense, and I'll tell you my opinion on the offense is we were missing a key contributor.
My opinion on the offense is it doesn't matter who is down there. That offense is stupid and will not work to win a national championship or to make a deep run in March. I mean, I watched 2 games after the IU game. They were both great games. They were nothing like the Indiana-Illinois thing. And I'm sorry, Illinois is not getting out of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament anyways. They're just not. I don't think they're that good. And I think Terrence Shannon has a lot bigger fish to fry, which is why in his first 3 games back from the rape allegation, he hasn't played that well. I mean, that's something to kind of hard to put away in the back of your mind and continue to play. So they've got Iowa next up. Right now, they're 12-8. We're at a point now, any home game is a must win if you want any shot at all at March Madness. And really, is there still a shot at March Madness here, Steve?
No. No. I'm feeling a lot of love for Brian Evans right now.
Wow, what did he say? I missed it. I didn't watch nothing after the game last night.
I think wasn't he the one that kind of got on and ripped IU a new butthole
A couple weeks ago, or was this recently?
Yeah, a couple weeks
yeah,
ago.
Him and Joe Hillman. Brian, what do you think? Tournament lost? No chance?
Oh, I don't think there's no chance. I think it's getting slimmer by the day, but I wouldn't say no chance.
So what do they have to do to be able to get in the tournament right now?
Yeah, I want to hear this crap.
So do
Go
I.
ahead, Brian.
Don't be so positive, Steve. Go ahead, Brian.
You just consider the source.
Which one?
They basically have to win out. They basically have to win out at home, and they need 2 road wins.
So there's 11 games left. So that would be 8-3.
Yeah.
And 8-3, I don't think gets them in though. And the other thing is, who are the road wins against?
Well, I'm hoping. Was it we play Michigan State on the road, or do we play them at home? I
We
forgot.
play them at home. Our away games are at Ohio State, and Ohio State's not a quad 1 team. Hell, I don't know if they'll be quad 2 by the time we play them. At Purdue, at Penn State, at Maryland, at Minnesota. See, I don't think there are 2 legitimate road wins there that help you get in the tournament. I think at Purdue has to be one, and we're not going to beat Purdue. Not at Purdue. So, I mean, and my issue is when you look at Northwestern and Nebraska, we play them back to back. They're both at home. That's going to be hard to get both of those. I mean, Iowa and Penn State, they should both win. You have to beat Ohio State. You have to go to Purdue and win. I really think to make the tournament, they can only afford to lose 2 more games, Brian. I mean,
okay, so we're different. The difference is 3 games. I said 3 games, and you're saying 2.
Yeah, but my problem is this. I don't think there's a world that exists where they only lose 3 games. That is my problem. So, yeah, I mean, hell, you could be right now, you could be Penn State in the tournament, and if you win out every game the rest of the way, 11 straight going to the Big Ten tournament, you could say you're going to make the tournament, but you're not going to. I mean, like I said, Iowa and Penn State, they lose either one, they're dead in the water. They have to win both of those. They have to win at Ohio State. You can afford to lose Purdue, but you have to win almost every other game. And
so you're basically saying 10-1.
Yeah, I think 10-1, maybe 9-2. And Michael Halton says Illinois did not play like a top 10 ranked team because they're not a top 10 team. We had them close, but missed our shots. And that's what sucks about it. This is a game Indiana could have easily won.
Yeah,
it's just bad. And Robert says, win the Big Ten tournament. Robert, come on. That's not happening. I don't know. Where do we go from here, Brian? I'm kind of at a loss. It seems like our shows are similar all the time because everything that happens is similar. We can't shoot free throws. We can't shoot threes. The offense is stagnant, but the defense did play much better.
What do you say to the aside from the technical foul? What's your call on X's play yesterday?
X's play? I would say this. I would say his play is nowhere near what it could be for his ability. And I think generally he played okay. My issue with his play would be the free throw shooting. You can't beat a dude that's supposed to lead this team and go, what was he, 2 for 7 from the free throw line?
Yeah, his free throwing was bad yesterday. Really
yeah,
was.
But I mean, generally, if we're going to compare it to the way he's played this year, he played outstanding for him. I think if we hold him up to the standard that he should be held up to, The 2 for 7 is completely unacceptable. You can't have your guards shooting 2 for 7. And if you look at the guards like Shannon did not play well yesterday, but he hit 8 out of 10 free throws. You got to be able to make the easy stuff.
Is free throw easy or not?
Free throw is easy. You don't think free throw is easy? It's free.
It's free, but it's more mental than when you're in the process of shooting. I think Steve would agree with that. When you shoot, when you're in the midst of a play and you're playing out on the court, you're not even really thinking. You're going with what your experience tells you, and you shoot. You don't think about the shot. You shoot. When you're at the free throw line,
you
you
don't
think.
No, you don't. Not a good free throw shooter doesn't. You do the same thing every time. You just walk up, you do it, and you shoot it. If you think about anything, that's why you're not a good free throw shooter, I think. Steve?
Sock, shorts, dribble, 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 swish.
Yeah. Mine was dribble 4 times, take a deep breath, and then shoot the ball. I didn't think about nothing else but that.
Mine was sock, shorts, dribble, 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 miss.
But the difference is yours. As I was going to say, if you just said made, I'd have said that's going to be the difference. So you didn't make yours. So
guys,
well, I think this also. I think it's a little bit rougher
get
for a big
behind
dude
this anymore this season. I mean, I'm on here.
Yeah, this is bad,
but
Brian.
this season's lost. It's lost. It's done. It's over. I mean, we'll make the NIT because we'll draw 17,000 people.
No, we won't, Steve. Last time we did it, covered an NIT, they got 6,000.
We'll put a good crowd in to Assembly Hall for a home NIT game, and that bodes well to the NIT. But if anybody thinks this team's a tournament team, you're knucking futz. We're not. We're not. We had every opportunity to win that game last night, and we couldn't pull it off.
Don't you think the dagger kind of was Renew falling out, though, Steve?
I think it's a comedy of errors across top to bottom. I mean, I'm not going to blame any one player.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying that when he fouled out, the game changed.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that excuse if that's what you want to do, but I'm not sure we would have won it had he continued to play. This team does not play hard. They don't play physical, hard basketball. They don't get after it. They don't dive for loose balls. They don't pound people into the ground. It's a very soft basketball team.
All right, so I did this last night, Steve. I watched Indiana, Illinois, except for the minute I dozed off. I saw 0 people on either team on the court. Now, I watched 2 games later that night. I think it was Ohio State Northwestern, which nobody from Ohio State ever got on the court in that game. Northwestern had 4 guys dive at different times. They win the game easy. Indiana State Bradley, hell, there were 6 guys in overtime for both teams that were diving on the ball at different times, a total of 12 times during the game. And I know Brian said that I don't watch much basketball. It's because it's football season, Brian, and now I do watch basketball. But football is over because the games are only on Sunday now. So I got to have something to watch on Saturday and during the rest of the week. But Michael Houghton says, with little offensive effort, especially in this low-scoring game, we are not likely to win many of the remaining games. And so what's the issue here? Is it the coaching? Is it the players? Is it the administration? I mean, and it's not to rip on anything. It's just something has to change, doesn't it, Brian?
No, I agree. Something has to change. I'm not sure what it is.
Steve?
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I mean, Ibaka has been a good shooter all year long, and he goes 0 for 3 yesterday from 3-point.
Well, the thing is, the issue here is not that he didn't make any. The issue is he only shot 3. And there's a reason why we don't shoot three, Steves, and that's because it is not something that the head coach wants to be done. I mean, we've never seen this team jack up a bunch of threes unless it was a one-off somewhere. We having a stare down, Steve? So, I don't know, Brian. To me, it's obvious what the issue is, and that is the players that are here on this team. They don't play hard. Chances are they didn't play hard when they were scouted, but they were really talented. They were tall. They could jump. They could shoot in high school.
So is that the indictment on the 4-star, 5-star?
The indictment is this. I mean, a 4-star, 5-star doesn't matter. If the 4 or 5-star will work his ass off and play really hard, you take him. But these kids are spoiled. Xavier gets the technical at the end of the first half. Xavier starts the second half. Still no accountability. So when all said and
Mike,
done,
I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I think these kids came to Indiana expecting to get after it and have a chance to play for a national championship. I think that they, that Mike and his people sold them a bill of goods and said, hey, we get you, and you. We put these teams together. We'll be ranked in the top 10, and you'll get recognized, and we'll play. I just think the coaching's not there. And it pains me to say that because God knows I've said I love Mike Woodson. I really do. I mean, he's a friend. But I just think they're not coached to play championship caliber basketball. I think the talent's there. I don't know. I don't know. I think the coaching's not there.
Brian, any thoughts?
Not really.
So you don't have an opinion?
Oh, of course I've got an opinion.
What's your opinion?
My opinion is, yes, I agree with what Steve said. They have a tremendous amount of talent. I don't agree with the fact they were sold a bill of goods. They still have to play together. And I have still yet to see this team play together as a team. They have to be able to do that themselves on the court. It doesn't matter how much coaching you do on practice. If you don't play as a team on the court during a game, how are you supposed to win?
Well, you don't play as a team in practice if you're not doing it in a game.
Well,
and you have to be.
If you're coaching,
none of us are.
Why don't you put 5 guys on the court that'll play as a team, regardless of who those 5 guys are?
Do we have 5 guys that will play as a team?
I don't know. I've not seen them. I've not seen it. So I don't know the answer to that question.
I mean, the only one I could think of is Leo that will play as a team, but I can't name
singling out any player. I'm singling out.
I'm thinking that the only person I see is Leo that will play as part of a team. I can't say that about the other 11. I can't.
Isn't that a coaching issue?
Going after it pretty hard. I see Galloway willing to get after it. I see Cubs willing to get after it.
Walker.
I'd say, you know what? If we're going to lose, we're going to lose with the guys who are going to play as a team. And then if we get beat, then we get beat. But I think the guys, and I think right now, Brian, you ought to be prepared because the portal is going to come into effect pretty quickly for this basketball team. The guys are going to I'm out of here. This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, put it like this. When I watch a really good team, when I watch Indiana State and Bradley play, when I watched Northwestern play last night, the thing that struck me is they all look like they were having fun playing basketball together. This team doesn't.
Winning does that.
Winning does that. No, it doesn't.
Indiana State's got a winning. You just gave two examples of two teams that are winning.
Yeah, because winning teams play that way. They're not selfish. They didn't all of a sudden become that way. I mean, Northwestern was like that last year. They were like that the year before. I mean, this is the way you're coached. You know, the coaches, Chris Collins is a very good basketball coach. You can't deny that. The dude has taken Northwestern and put them in a tournament more than they've ever been in it in the last 10 years before, the 80 years before that, more than that. And
how many years has Collins been there?
How long has he been there?
I
About a
want to say
decade?
8 or 9 years, maybe 10.
Yeah, and he's made the tournament at least 4 times in a program that used to never be able to beat anybody. I mean, it used to be a big deal when Northwestern got to the NIT. And right now, we live in a world where Indiana's program is less relevant than Northwestern. They're less relevant than Wisconsin. Those are teams that used to be horrible. The big common denominator there is Wisconsin in the early 90s got a really good coach. Northwestern got a really good coach. We haven't had a really good coach. We just haven't. And I mean, it's not to be mean. It's just obvious. And anybody that wants to sit here and put their head in the sand and act like a team that plays without intensity is well coached, the biggest sign on whether a team is well coached or not is how hard they play. There's no other indication of that, because I could go out and run the dumbest offensive defense in the world, but if everybody plays as hard as they possibly can, it'll never look like this.
You know, Mike, I go back to 1981. I'm sorry, Brian. The front line for North Carolina was 3 All-Americans. Worthy, top 50 NBA player of all time. Al Wood, college basketball player of the year. Sam Perkins. We just outplayed them. we took Landon Turner, myself, Kitchell. Kitchell only played 3 minutes before he fouled, never got back in the game. Jimmy Thomas. We just freaking outplayed them. And we had no business being in the game with those guys. Yeah, we had Isaiah, but they had a front line that was the front line.
Okay, and you played as a team, right?
Example of what playing hard does for you. This team just will not play hard. I don't know. I'm heartbroken. I'm just heartbroken. I'm disappointed. I don't think they're worthy of the 5 stars on their asses on the back of their uniforms. They're not worthy of wearing those. I don't think they are. I think that's a moniker of days gone by of, you know, I don't know what to say. I told my wife last night, I'm like, why do they even have those stars on the back of their uniforms? They didn't earn those. They don't even play to that level. And I don't know. I don't know.
All right, Brian, what were you going to say?
The bottom line is what you just explained was what Bob Knight did all his career. Took players who were not the top tier talent, got them to play as a team, and beat other teams with better players. Because
okay, Brian, but here's the second greatest IU basketball player of all time. Knight's favorite second prodigal son, next to Quinn Buckner or Scott May, and he can't produce that. He can't bring that to the level of teaching that to his crap. I feel like I could go in. You know, I'd like to take the B team for IU and go play a scrimmage game against Woody. I'd kick his fucking ass. I would have my team playing so hard. I swear to God, I would. I just would forget your talent. We're just gonna outplay them. We're gonna get on the floor. We're gonna do loose ball drills. We're gonna get after it. We're gonna play hard. I'm gonna knock the crap out of somebody. So when they come down the lane, they're scared to death. And I do not see this out of this basketball team. So that's
what is the same about the game from 1981 until now? What is similar? What's similar about
there's
this
nothing
game?
similar.
Okay.
There's nothing similar at all. Mike Woods is not even similar because he wasn't on the 81 team.
No, he was on the 80 team. That was a good team.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what's similar between any.
That's not what I meant, though.
Anything that's similar is all the same in every sport. The thing that is similar is usually whoever wants it the most wins. It's just a fact. Whoever will impose their will.
There you go, Mike.
Whoever will. I mean, this is bullshit when people say that it's not like it used to be. No, it's not. But it's not because we have a bunch of soft-ass coaches who do not demand anything. If you expect nothing, you will get nothing. You will get what you tolerate. This is an absolute joke. I'm sorry. I loved Woodson as a player. And I mean, the sad thing is when you watch the fan base, you either got fans here calling everybody names, or you got fans here saying, well, you're not a fan if you're not happy being 12-8. And it's stupid on both sides. Nobody should accept a lack of effort, and nobody should accept that I have to pay to watch a game where the team doesn't even try. I have to pay to go to a game where the team doesn't try. I mean, that's disgusting.
Okay, Mike, but that's a good point. But do you blame that? You blame that on the portal? Because I think these guys will vacate. I think a lot of these guys are going to
let them vacate. They're not playing hard. Fuck them. Let them vacate. Go get five guys.
I think they will. I think
there's no doubt they will.
I think that this team will be significantly different looking next year.
Well, my guess is Mbako goes to a Kansas or a Duke, averages 20 a game, and gets drafted in the first round.
Yeah, because I agree. Mbako's a hell of a player.
Yes, and he needs the ball in his hands at almost every time. He's the best player on this team. If anybody on this team is going to play in the NBA, it's going to be him, and he could be dominant anywhere.
Yeah,
but he's got to be turned loose. I mean, this shit where you got to throw the ball to Malik and Khalil, hell, he's a better player. Just let him go. Let him drive to the basket. We've started to see him start to take the ball to the hole more. You let him take the ball to the hole, and you got Ware and Malik underneath with him. You're going to get a lot of points even when he misses.
You know, it's funny, Mike. You say that. I used to coach AAU basketball, and I would tell I had a kid that was the best 3-point shooter I'd ever seen at 12 and under. And I told him, I said, if you don't take X number of shots a game, I'm benching you. I want you to shoot the ball. You know, that's all you just, Lauren, you just go out there and shoot the ball. And that's all you do. And when I got Lauren shooting, we were untouchable. And I think with a kid like Mbako, it's like, you run wild.
Dude, turn them all loose. Turn them all loose.
You can't make enough turnovers. You can't make enough errors. Go play. You can't foul out enough times for me. You just go play hard and be yourself. And you're right. He'll be at Duke or Kansas next year. He'll be out of Indiana.
Well, hopefully not, but I don't see a way he's not.
I don't see a pathway for him to stay.
If I want to go to the NBA, I don't want to be here, especially if I'm a guy that can drive to the basket and stuff. You can say what you want. Trace is in the NBA. Hood Schifino's in the NBA. How's Jalen Hood Schifino doing in the NBA? I generally don't know because I don't really watch the NBA except for the.
I don't think he's doing as well as Trace is.
He's playing for the Lakers, right? He's the 12th man on the Lakers.
I don't know. I could be.
He was drafted first round by the Lakers, so I don't hear his name.
He was drafted off of future abilities. And it'll never work out for him because he doesn't play that hard. He played hard occasionally, and when he did, he dominated games like the game at Purdue last year. Trace Jackson Davis is a dude that imposes his will on the game. And that's why this team made the tournament the last 2 years. Because this team right now has more talent than last year's team had, Brian.
And less leadership.
Yeah, because Trace Jackson Davis was there. There was no other leadership on that.
Okay, but we knew he's gone. Nobody has stepped the. Woody goes by seniors. You can argue that, yes or no.
That's stupid. So, It
Well,
just is. You go with your best players. You know, what I see is this. You see it all the time, high school sports, college sports. They're going to make a senior a captain because he's a senior. When you got
Hey,
better players sitting on the bench.
Mike,
Yeah.
in 1980, 81, who was our leader?
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas, freshman and sophomore.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't a senior.
was he the leader in 80?
Yeah,
Okay. I
He
mean,
was the
I'm
leader
referring
when he
to
was on the team.
he was. Anytime he was on the court, he was our leader.
Yeah, because
He
leaders.
stepped over Whitman. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
stop
He
a
was
leader
the
from being a
leader
leader.
of this. Trust me, I'm there. I know who the leader was in 80 and 81.
so typically, who is your leader on a basketball team? What position?
Usually the point guard.
The
Right.
person who will get on the court and rip everybody a new asshole for not doing what coach wants done on the court.
Hey,
But
but
it's
will
usually-
also hold himself accountable if he's not doing it either.
Yeah. Nobody held himself more accountable. Great point, Mike. Nobody held himself more accountable than Isaiah did.
Because to me, the accountability thing is a bigger thing than anything else with being a captain.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
Whatever. I don't want to knock any one player. I just think it's a bad culture. It's not a good culture.
No. And you can't change a culture after you've been there for 3 years. I mean, usually once
you should be able to instill your own culture into the program after 3 years.
I think it's instilled. So
What?
Your culture is always instilled after 6 months. Your culture is instilled. Usually after the first week, your culture is instilled.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing, Brian, is I don't know too many coaches that have a culture like this and turn it around. I just don't. I mean, if you can think of some, I'm sure there's one or two here or there, but this is not good.
Hey, Brian, I'll bet you a lids fitted cap the IU does not make the dance this year.
Well, the odds are in your favor.
What about the NIT dance?
I already got one I got a Colts ad from Mike. You want to bet me?
My bet.
The odds are in your favor. I don't bet against the odds. The odds are in your favor, not mine.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel bad. I feel bad. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where to draw the line and where to blame. Is it Dollison? I mean, we all loved Mike coming in here. I was thrilled to death when Mike came in. I expected him to show more tenacity than I'm seeing.
How about this? I didn't expect him to be that good of a coach because he hadn't been in the past, but I did expect him to bring tenacity.
Think that far, Mike.
I
didn't think that far.
I did expect him to bring tenacity, though. That's why I was all right with the hiring, because if you give me tenacity, I don't care how good a coach you are. If we play harder than everybody else, we could win the damn game.
I think we would have won last night had we just played harder basketball. We just played more physical, more get in your face, more we are Indiana. There's some tradition, some pride behind our tradition. I don't know. I don't know. I think right now our best bet is the NIT, and that's sad. That's sad for a program with 5 banners hanging there.
Our best bet is
the last undefeated basketball team in the history of college basketball. It's sad. It's sad.
All right, and next up, the Indiana Hoosiers will face the Iowa Hawkeyes. That'll be Tuesday night at Assembly Hall. Iowa's coming off an 88-78 win at Michigan. Before that, they lost by 2 at home against Maryland. They'd been beaten by 14 by Purdue at home. Beat Minnesota at Minnesota by 9. Blew out Nebraska at home. So Iowa's not a bad team. They're much better than what they were at the start of the year, Brian.
Right.
But how do we match up against the Hawkeyes?
Well, I haven't watched that closely, but a traditional Iowa team is fast and high scoring.
Hey,
Which
put it like
doesn't
this, Brian. I'll give you this stat, which is what scares me against Michigan. Now it's Michigan, and Michigan sucks. But Tony Perkins, guard, 24 points. Peyton Sandford, 26 points. 50 of their points were scored by their main two guards.
and
And
that's a kiss of death for us.
yeah, but the thing is not a kiss of death is their front court's not very good either. So it's according if Khalil Ware wants to play or not Tuesday night. If he does, you can win the game that way, but you got to defend the perimeter, which they haven't shown that they can do yet.
Why do you say if he wants to play? Do you know something I don't? Why would the guy not want to play?
I just said it the same way Coach Woodson said it. I mean, he said that if he wants to play, I mean, because the way I take it is this, and this is, I mean, this is my observation. I could be completely wrong. I'm not going to die on this hill, but when I watch him jumping up and down at the start of the game on the bench, and it seems like there's nothing wrong, it worries me a little bit because I think this. I think what has changed in the last 30 years is that if guys are hurt, especially if they're 4 or 5-star guys that think they're going to the NBA the next year, they're not as likely to risk playing with an injury. That's all I'm saying.
Kind of like football players not playing in bowl games anymore.
No, because football game players are not playing in bowl games because number one, the bowl games are absolutely fucking meaningless. That's why nobody shows up to watch them. And why do you want to risk getting hurt? I mean, this season is not over. If I'm the quarterback at Notre Dame and I'm going to the Sun Bowl and I'm supposed to be a top 3-round NFL draft pick, why would I play in a game that 8,000 people show up to watch? And the WNBA draws more people watching their games than they would that bowl game at 2:00 on a Friday afternoon. This is a game that was a must-win game. It was a quad one game on the road, and it's a game where every Indiana fan saying if he'd played, we'd have won.
It's a game they could have won.
Yeah, it's a game they could have won without him. Either way, if they just shoot the ball better. But I'm just saying that it worries me, and I know it's open to interpretation, but when the coach says if he wants to play, you don't make that mistake when you're talking about a kid that's hurt.
Hey Brian, what's your interpretation of Mike's bench coaching?
The coaches on the bench, or
no, his bench coaching. We all say that Bob Knight was probably the greatest bench coach ever to coach the game.
Right.
Where does Woodson more toward Knight or a lot less toward Knight?
Well, obviously, I think they're very different. I think their whole approach to management of a game is, I think Knight did more matchup than Woody has ever done.
Okay. All right.
And I think Woody looks at it 5 guys on the floor at a time, where Knight would look at individual plays and players and say, okay, if we run this, we can beat this guy.
Yeah, because basically what Coach Knight did is what all great coaches do, which is you find the other team's weak spot and you attack it. And you try to camouflage your own weak spot. That's not done by hardly any coaches anymore. There are a few. The Bradley coach is actually really good too. I hate to bring that up, but that dude can coach basketball.
But as you said, as you guys both said last week, and I still don't know what the answer is, but the Indiana teams of the 70s and 80s played the motion offense to near perfection. And why don't more teams play that now? Yeah. I don't know.
Well, because most teams want to run and shoot threes. My problem is, and I watch a lot of teams that do that very well. Hell, Iowa's one of them that runs an offense that is very productive, even though we don't like Farmer Fran and he can't play defense. But
well, that brings up a good point, Mike. How bad has the three-pointer been for college basketball?
Oh, I think it's been great for college basketball. Why not? I mean, why not have a three-pointer? It's better than, constant dunking. Three's worth more than two. I think what we saw, even Coach Knight hated a three-pointer. But IU would still shoot a lot of three-pointers because he had the best three-point shooter in the country. And IU, the last national championship they won, big correlation between the three-pointer being in that game against Syracuse. Steve Alford hits, 7 threes in that game? If there's no three-point shot, they may not win that game because Syracuse actually had the better basketball team. But Indiana had a lot better coach And their style was more conducive to shooting the three because Syracuse ran through Derek Coleman, Ronnie Cycli. They ran through two
Ronnie
big men.
Cycli, best looking guy to ever play college basketball.
Okay.
Whatever that's worth.
He was so
I thought it
damn
was you,
good looking.
Steve. I thought you were the best looking guy that ever played basketball.
No, I was dog ugly.
How you doing, Denise?
No,
But-
Ronnie Cycli, best looking guy to ever play college basketball.
Oh, he was Greek, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he was a
Next
good
to
player.
Christian Leitner.
Luckily, him and
We all
Derek
know
Coleman
about
couldn't shoot free
Leitner.
throws. Yeah, we all know about Leitner. Christian
Yeah.
Leitner is my favorite college basketball player that didn't play for IU just because he crushed the heart and soul of all Kentucky fans. And if you bring his name up or Duke to any Kentucky fan 30 years later, they still almost burst out into tears and they tell you to shut the hell up. They don't want to hear that. Robert says we will beat Iowa. Robert, you says that about everybody. You're 12-8 so far this year.
I
buddy.
think we'll win. I think we'll beat Iowa. I think we'll come back to somebody all but that's not is Iowa a quad one team?
No, they're 12-8.
So they're not a quad. So that's a meaningless win for us to any great degree.
It's not meaningless because they still are ranked above us by a lot, though.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But
Let's go to the net rankings right now. Houston's number one. That's Brian's favorite coach. Produced two.
Kelvin Sampson. What didn't we fire that guy
Yeah.
for making phone calls?
Yeah. Wisconsin's 11. Illinois State at 13. All right,
Houston
Steve.
is Houston ranked number one right now?
In net ranking, yeah.
In net rankings, not the AP or UPI.
Nobody cares about the AP or the UPI because that doesn't really. I mean, the net rankings in the Ken Palm with the tournament.
That doesn't get you in a tournament. Yeah.
I mean, right now, Houston would be a 1 seed. If I look at it, Michigan State fell below Indiana State. They're at 25 right now. Who am I looking for? Iowa, right?
Yeah.
I have a memory deficit disorder. It's called I got hit in the head too much when I was younger. That's all my sister's fault. Let's see. Yeah, Iowa right now is at number 58. They have the same record as us.
They've got some quad one wins.
No, they don't. They have none. But they have
none.
They have a lot.
They have a
58,
and we're.
Hey, they have a lot more. They have double the quad 2 wins though. They have 4, and I think we had 2.
Well,
so.
I like the fact that I looked at Indiana and we played Kansas to what, a 4-point game.
Yeah,
and
Kansas.
There was another quad one team that we only lost to by a few points.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah, who are our losses against quad one teams?
We got blown out by Auburn. We lost a close one to Kansas, and we got blown out by UConn.
But who else did we? There's somebody else.
Purdue blew us out also.
Okay, I thought there was somebody else we played close.
Brian, can you think of anybody we played close that would be a quad 1?
Quad 1.
I'm just looking and I don't see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought when they were showing it last night, I thought that I don't want to piss on any one person.
Northwestern is 61. Nebraska dropped all the way to 62 with their loss the other night. Ohio State dropped to 68 when they got hammered by Northwestern, which I made some good money on because Northwestern was only favored by 3.5, Brian, at home against Ohio State, and they beat them by like 31.
I think the Big Ten will put 6 teams in the tournament.
I think it's pushing it.
Not based on those net rankings, they will.
No, they will based on television opportunities.
No, they won't because there are no television opportunities for Nebraska basketball, Steve. Nebraska basketball doesn't bring you shit. Hell, Rutgers right now.
I think I think
hey, we moved up yesterday.
What are we now?
Up?
We moved up from 98 to 97.
Okay, great. I know. That's the point I was getting ready to make is Indiana has the television gate card to play.
They don't. I don't think they do. I don't think there's anything that tells me TV ratings for IU games are going to be higher than anybody else anymore. This is
I have to agree with Steve on that because I think
agree with it all you want, but it's just not true. We're
okay. Are you on the? I can agree with him.
Mike. I think you're wrong.
Okay, whatever.
I think
you put Indiana against a number 1 or number 2 seed, and I think that's a big moneymaker on True TV. I think there's something to be said for Indiana. If they could finish out the season strong, I still think Indiana could get in the dance.
Well, let me ask another question. Mike, since you seem to know this so well, what percentage is net
Let's
ranking?
Let's get on him, Brian. Get on. Let's get on Goodpaster.
What percent? We're talking about the net rankings and quad 1 wins. What does the selection committee look at? Are you saying, is this the only thing they look at?
No, they look at net ratings. They look at KenPom, and then you got the eye test too for anybody that looks at it. Actually, TV ratings, real quick. Indiana basketball compared to other Big Ten teams, they rank 6th. So it is better than what they rank in the actual thing. So
they rank 6th in TV ratings.
Yeah.
Well, how is that measured?
Just by how many people watch whenever they play.
Yeah, I think that counts.
Yeah, 6 is not good out of a 14-team conference when you're Indiana.
Well, how many games do we get in the Big Ten versus Big Ten Network versus national TV compared to other teams above us?
The bigger teams get on national TV usually.
Right.
And
so it's already skewed.
Yeah, because we don't get on national TV that often.
Where Purdue gets on more often, Wisconsin gets on more often.
Yeah, because they're more relevant and they get better ratings.
Okay, so the ratings don't mean anything if you're not apples to apples as far as visibility potential.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would be like me saying, well, Indiana State would do just as well then, but they've only played one national televised game.
Yeah, I agree with Denise. Six is we're only the 6th best team in terms of television rankings in the Big Ten. Really?
Could be have something to do with the Peacock games too. But then again, I think everybody plays them
on this one.
Okay, so are the road games
play to our favor?
How about this? Are the road games we got left?
Yeah.
How many do we win?
Who do we got left on the road, Brian?
We got Purdue, Penn State, Maryland, and Minnesota.
We have Purdue. We're going to lose. Penn State, we can win. Who else?
Maryland,
we can win.
Minnesota.
You forgot Ohio State too.
Oh, did I forget Ohio State?
Go 3-1 on our road games. I think we'd be in the hunt.
Yeah, there's no way 3-1 happens there. I think from watching them.
I don't know, Mike. I think we
from watching them. I think you can beat Ohio State. You're going to lose to Purdue.
Okay, so I forgot one. So there's actually 5 games on the road left.
Wait. Hey, Mike,
I missed one.
You need me to come coach?
I think we go 1-4.
Give me a jet to Bloomington. All right, I'll come shore up your defense right now. All right, I'll get it. Okay, Mike. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
As Denise says, don't see their games much anymore.
I'll call Zeke. And
Robert says hi, Denise, because he likes every female that gets on here and makes a message.
All right, can you get
Mike? Denise smiled back. This could be like love connection. What do you think?
Yeah,
Mike,
you never know.
Get a hold of Kitchen Wit.
Hey, Mike, you telling me you don't think they can go 4-1 on the road?
No, I don't think there's a chance.
All right.
Because the problem is this, Brian.
81 teams coming back.
From what we've seen, Northwestern or Penn State is actually very good at home. And they've got some very good wins at home. Maryland is a solid team now. They've improved a ton. Minnesota's hard to beat at Minnesota. And right now, our only road win was Michigan, right?
Well, we've only played how many road games?
What's going on with Denise? She's married.
She is?
What the hell? What's going on here? Who's trying to hit on Denise?
It was Robert again. You know how Robert is.
Robert.
Remember Robert?
Leave her alone, Robert. Good God,
come on,
she's
Robert. Jeez, Robert.
Jeez, Robert.
Dang. Denise, we need to do a boxing show soon anyways. Denise is big with the boxing too. All right, guys. So Indiana versus Iowa, even though we didn't really preview it, except to say they got guards that could shoot the 3. What's your final score, Brian?
Well, I'm going to go optimistic, and I say Indiana wins by 12.
All right, Steve.
Indiana wins.
And I will say Iowa wins by 4. I think the 3-point shooting gets us in the end. I hope not, though.
You're no fun, Mike.
Dude, I'm sorry. I was wrong too many times in a row, and I'm supposed to be a betting expert.
Are you going to bet that? Are you going to?
It's funny what the point spread is.
Who is the place where you go bet, Mike? Where's that place you go?
Bet MGM. Robert says IU by 10. BetMGM's the best sports book for betting on the NFL playoffs or college basketball. Make sure you go there. Check them out.
Are you going to bet
now
on this game, Mike?
I don't know what the point spread is, Steve, so I cannot tell you. I did not touch yesterday's game. I have not touched a game since I mistakenly what was the game before Wisconsin, Brian?
Purdue.
Yeah. I think I bet that one and took the 10 or 11 points. And then I realized I just need to quit betting with my heart and use my head. So I think Indiana, Iowa is pretty much a complete toss-up. So if IU is favored by more than 3 points, I would probably bet Iowa. If IU is less than 3, I'll just stay away from it.
Unless my stats wrong, I was just looking at yearly totals for Iowa, and they're making 2 more 3-pointers a game than we are.
Yeah, but if you look at their stats, probably the last 8 games compared to the start, because start of the season, they were terrible, if I remember right, because I think they were below 500 at one point. Because I know at one point during the season on the Big Ten Power Rankings, I had them at 12, and everybody in Iowa that was an Iowa Hawkeye fan sent me a bunch of hate emails. Because really, when you look at Iowa, because Iowa got hammered by Creighton. They got hammered by Oklahoma. They beat Seton Hall at Seton Hall, which is a big win. They got decimated by Iowa State. They got destroyed by Purdue. They lost by 10 to Michigan early in the season, Brian.
Yeah, and that was at home.
Yeah. And then they got beat by 11. And then they beat Rutgers. So January 6th is where I would look at those stats, because if you notice, once you get to January 6th, the point totals for them go up exponentially. You got 86, 94, 86. You had to 70, but that's Purdue. They lost by 2, 69, 67 to Maryland. I don't think they shoot near as good as they did the last few years because they don't have, and I'm not, Denise.
Wasn't January 6th the insurrection?
No, that was a largely peaceful protest that was allowed by the FBI.
No, I'm in your camp. Yeah, I'm in your
camp. I'm not in your camp. I don't support Trump. I don't support any Democrat or Republican. I think they're all scumbags, and we all get screwed in the end either way.
Right, can we keep politics out of this conversation?
Steve always tries to bring it in because he's a communist.
Term limits.
In California.
You gotta have term limits.
You'll never have term limits because the people that would be term limited would have to allow that and vote it, and then they can't line their pockets anymore.
You can't let the fox guard the hen house. Exactly.
Well, I mean, the thing is this. If you don't let lobbying groups give politicians money, that would probably right there help more than anything.
Yeah, that would be a big thing.
All right, guys. So we will be back. That game is on Tuesday. We'll be
Mike,
back.
I know when I worked for Pfizer, I had a big checkbook go on the hill.
So we'll be back on Wednesday.
Bye, Steve.
All right, Braylon.
That check couldn't even pay the.
Balin says we can make bets on how many times Farmer Fran will throw temper tantrums during the game. It's going to happen, but how many times will it happen? We'll put the over under at 2.5.
There you go.
All right, next up, we've got Michael. IU may win, but remember, we play bad against bad teams.
I'm going to throw the red chair at the red chair group. He's getting very negative.
How could you not be negative? We've lost 3 straight games, and we're 12-8, and we have no quad 1 wins. There's nothing to be positive about.
Where were you guys at in 81, Steve, at this point?
We were in the midst of, I know we won our last 10 games.
Do you realize what their schedule was, Brian?
Yeah, it was a Big Ten schedule.
No, they played other teams before the Big Ten schedule. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, do you know the teams they played that got them that record? Because they didn't lose hardly any. I think they lost 2 Big Ten games the whole year.
We were 14-4 in the Big Ten.
Yeah. I mean, they were 9-7 or some crap like that, or 9-5.
Did you win like the last? You won 9 of the last 10, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah.
We won our last 10 games. I won on a 10-game winning streak.
All right, so here you go. Indiana's losses.
That includes the tournament.
1981.
5 games in the tournament.
Indiana's losses in 1981. They lost by number 2 ranked Kentucky by 2. They lost to number 9 ranked Notre Dame by 4. They lost to North Carolina, who was ranked 8 by 9 at North Carolina. They beat Kansas State, who was ranked.
Wait a minute. Go back. Kentucky had Freddie Cowan. They had Bowie and Verderber, and Kyle Macy was on that team.
Yeah, and Clemson they lost to by 1 point, and Clemson went on to win
Larry Nance,
21 games,
number 1 draft pick by the Phoenix Suns on that team.
Then they lost by 6 to Texas Rio Grande Valley, who made it to the NIT and won 25 games that year.
Still lost that game.
I guess a really good team. We
lost to North Carolina, didn't we?
Yeah, you lost.
Nobody considered that a real good team when they lost to them.
Actually, I think they did because they were a team receiving votes at the time, and they ended up ranked in the top 25.
Go down, Mike. Go down through our losses again. Let me see if I can name all the players.
No, because it'll take too long. Big Ten losses. Steve, shut the fuck up just for a second.
No.
Steve, shut the fuck up, please.
Mike, when you want to talk about your prowess for.
I don't talk about any of my prowess on an NCAA basketball. I just want Brian to hear this. The Big Ten losses were to Michigan, ranked number 9, at Michigan in
Mike
overtime.
McGee.
They lost to Iowa. They lost to Iowa by a point in overtime.
Iowa had Kevin Boyle and the guy that played guard for the Bulls for a long time.
No, you're thinking of Ronnie Lester. Ronnie Lester graduated in 1980.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah. Then they lost to Purdue at Purdue by a point in overtime. Then they lost
Joe Barry Carroll
to Iowa again. What was you guys in Iowa? And then they won like their last 5 or 6 regular season games. But what we're talking about here is Indiana played like half the top 20 that year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Denise, thank you. She says, great show. We'll do better on catching the lives more often. And let's see. Michael Halton, exactly. Says, give me something to be positive about.
Mike, see if Denise wants to come on the show.
Yeah, she can replace
a female point of view. I'm serious.
There you go. Denise, you want to come on the show and talk to me?
You want to come on the show and be with us.
But that's not a creepy.
We'll just get rid of Brian.
Actually, if she's good, I'll get rid of both of you. I might even sit it out from now on.
We'll do our own show.
There you go. You and Brian doing your own show would be awesome. That'd be like watching a freaking. It wouldn't even be a train wreck. It would be like watching a plane crash.
One day.
Nothing good ever comes from a plane crash, unless you crash in the Alps and then you eat all your friends and you're the one that survives. Which is what you and Brian doing a show together would be. Would you stop it, Steve? Oh my God! Now, Robert, you just.
Robert says, "Yeah, Denise, come on the show."
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up before you say we're gonna wrap this up.
Robert's gonna turn it into Pornhub, but that's okay.
Okay, guys, I've been thinking this is how the show should probably run.
It does.
But all right, guys, you made Denise smile. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap it up. Remember, check out BetMGM. You can follow Brian Mohr on Twitter at BK Mohr. You can follow Steve Risley
on the show next show.
34. I don't know. Ask Denise. You can follow me
on the show next show
at Grilling Truth. Jeez. All right, we will be back Wednesday at some point to wrap up the Indiana-Iowa game.
Some of us will. Yeah, I might get replaced. So
no, I would tell you, if I could replace you both, I would. But nobody else wants to.
Okay, all right. Let me ask one question, and we'll wrap it up here.
Go.
Balin. Oh, now Balin's getting involved.
No, he said, "Have a good one, gentlemen. Go Lions." I agree, Balin. Go Lions.
Go Lions.
Go 49ers.
Go 49ers.
Why would you
I
cheer
got
for the 49ers? Are you that pathetic?
No, I don't like Detroit. I want the.
I like Detroit.
You know what it is? The Chicago Bears have been so pathetic for so long that he feels kind of, upset because the Lions might go to the Super Bowl.
And then they won't be as shitty as like they have been forever.
Yeah, so then, it'll just be you guys and all the other teams will, be pretty decent.
Okay, yes or no question across the board.
What?
Go.
Mike or Brian? Brian, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Does IU dance this year or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I say yes.
All right. So what I would like to do is this.
Oh, wait, where's Mike? Yes or no?
I would like to do
Mike?
this.
Yes
I would
or no,
like
Mike.
No, you got to hear this. I'm going to give you a yes or no. What I want from you guys is a yes or no. Since you guys think they're going to go dancing, I do not. So my answer is no. So I would like to know if you guys would like to right now make a bet for a hat from Fanatics, each one of you. I'll send you each a hat if IU makes the tournament. If they don't make the tournament and they end up in the NIT or worse, you both send me a hat.
I'm in.
I don't want the clearance hat that you're wearing.
I'm in, Mike. I'll take that bet.
All right, I'll take the bet.
I think you picked the hat. dances.
All right, so you
I get to pick the hat. I get to pick the hat.
Yeah, you get to pick the hat.
Okay.
You can't have my hat anyways. It's my hat, dumbass.
I don't want that hat.
I don't want you to have that hat. I
don't like it. I think it's the ugliest fucking hat I've ever seen.
You don't have enough brains to wear a fucking hat.
Brian.
Like this.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Mike Goodpaster.
Yep. No, it wasn't. I bought you the Colts hat, you dumbass.
Yeah, with the money he saved, he bought the IU hat.
Trying to impress Denise.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. I'll just go ahead and send me a couple.
So we got a bet. We got a bet.
Yeah, I'm betting they don't go to the tournament. If they don't go to the NCAA tournament, you each send me a hat.
All right, no problem.
It's the easiest fucking bet I've ever made, especially since you both said there's no way they were making it an hour ago on the show. All right, guys.
You said about the Dolphins and the Bills.
Yeah, the Dolphins and Bills. I said that the Dolphins would have a better record. The Bills had a better record by 1 touchdown in the last game. This will be over with in the next 3 games. All right, guys. I hope it's not, but now I do because that'd cost me like $80 if it ain't. But
Mike, you got a middle name?
These fitted hats are expensive.
Mike, you got a middle name?
Yes.
What is it?
None of your fucking business. No, that's actually my middle name.
None of your fucking business.
What's your middle name, Brian?
Optimistic. How's that?
What's your middle name?
I'm not going to fucking tell you.
See? So don't get mad at me if I don't. Steve Risley will tell us his middle name, won't you, Steve?
It's very German, very not appropriate German.
Not
Fuckenheimer?
No, it's not a good name.
Why is it
I
not
told you my
name?
middle name before anyway, Mike. You were paying attention.
No, I don't fucking pay attention. Damn. The hell's wrong with you? I just hang out with you guys because I need 2 idiots that'll watch IU basketball games with me.
Oh, God.
I think Steve and I both need haircuts.
Yeah, I think that is you and Steve's biggest issue is you both need haircuts. All right, Denise says have a great weekend. And, of course, Robert chimes in immediately with you too, Denise. All right, guys, we're going to wrap the show up. We'll see you again on Wednesday.
2 would be TOO, not TO. God damn, the grammar.
Don't use the Lord's name in vain, you fucking moron. Go get a haircut. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up.
Denise.
For Dan Kornhauser, Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. Been watching and listening.
Dan Kornhauser? What are you giving him plugs on?
Did I say Dan Kornhauser?
Yes, you did.
I called you instead of Steve, didn't I?
You called me Dan Kornhauser.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry. Dan's a much
Mike,
better looking guy than you.
Brian, you should be lucky to be called Dan Kornhauser.
Yeah, there's a lot worse things you could be called. And Robert's hitting on you.
It'd be better than you being called Denise, that's for sure.
All right. So for Brian, I don't want no more. And Steve,
Mike, we're not going to let you hang up.
I'm Mike Goodpaster. We're watching and listening to the grueling truth where the legends speak.
Hey, Mike.